And we are live. We are live. We are live. What's up, everybody? I'm sorry we're on here late, but we was having some technical difficulties with getting on tonight. But listen, it's Wednesday night. Welcome to Hits and Heels, and my name is Coach Terry Bryant. And today we have the honor of being um, presented with Mrs. Sherry Ballew, Agee, who just recently got inducted into the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame here in Lexington. And for those of you that have been tuning in, you know that I'm on the board of the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. It's one of my absolute favorite projects that my husband and I have been blessed to be a part of. And, with us being athletes in the Lexington community, the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame is just something that is definitely near and dear to our hearts. So if you have not tuned in before, again, my name is Coach Terry Bryant. I actually coach football here in Lexington with my husband at Crawford Middle School. I've coached women's tackle football. I keep seeing my everything technology going in and out, but that's okay. We are getting ready to just roll with it. And Mrs. Sherry, thank you for coming on Hits and Heels. And now that we done got all this technical difficulties out of the way, go ahead and okay, I don't know where you want to start, but everybody needs to know that you are absolutely had an amazing athletic career. Now you're a business owner. So why don't you just take us from your life story, tell us who you are, let us be familiar with you so that we can enjoy and celebrate you. How about that?
Well, as everyone knows, I'm Sherry Ballew, Agee by marriage. I married Alfred Agee. Um, I started off my career, I guess, kind of late. I did things probably in elementary and junior high, but nothing in track. I had no one really that I followed in my family. I just all of a sudden decided one day I was going to end up running. And I started in the 10th grade, and my mom came to pick me up one day and just point blank said, "Nope, you're not running." Because at that time, I was like in a whole bunch of stuff. I was in the band also. And I got a late start. So I didn't start until 11th grade, and I kind of self taught myself the hurdles. I just decided I wanted to run the hurdles. And Coach Paul Woodall, kind of helped me and said, you'd be a really good hurdler. You'd be a good long jumper, high jump. Well, I tackled all of them. And my junior year and senior year, I really got into it, set a national record in the 11th grade. Still didn't know what I was doing. um, Went to the state, and they invited Coach Ed Temple up from Tennessee State to watch me run, and they invited me down in the summer to run in their sport program to see if maybe I fit into the program. And voila, I fit into their program and I got a scholarship. So I did that for a while. I ran with several clubs. Transferred back, let's see, probably my senior year to the University of Kentucky. Then I ran with Terre Haute Track Club, Chicago Zephyrs, and Marathon Oil Track Club. And then we just followed a career with the military. And just not long ago, finished up, retired. My husband retired there. We moved to Radcliffe. And I kind of went into business for myself and started doing flowers. And here I am.
And here you are. Okay, so let's go back to where your mom did not want you to run.
Yeah.
And you get a late start. So how did you become a national? No, you break a national record.
I
You
don't
were
know.
the national record holder. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. I broke a national 50 in the 50-yard hurdles in high school. Mm-hmm.
With no training
No.
and a late start.
Yes.
Like that is like okay, so that's like unheard of. Okay, so And then of course you attended Bryan Station High School,
Mhm.
and the famous Woodalls were the coaches. Okay. I'm speechless right now because I don't even know like how does that even happen? Okay, so you also did gymnastics and band, but
Mhm.
weren't you good in gymnastics as well?
No, not really. That was
Oh, okay.
kind of helped me to be well-rounded. A lot
Okay.
of athletes do several
Because
things.
back then and there, we didn't have black girls doing gymnastics.
I did vaults. I was really kind of too long-legged to do some of the stuff, but uh, I did my thing, worked out, and I didn't do a whole bunch of the meets and stuff. I did vaults, but once track and band rolled around, that was my thing.
That was your thing, was
Yeah,
track. So I ran track, so I absolutely love. So what did you only do hurdles, or did you do any of the other events as well?
long jump and high jump. I didn't do any of the relays. I didn't do any of the open events. Just all individual on
So
her.
individual events, hurdles, and the field events, the jump events.
Mhm.
Okay. So and so then so you broke two records in the hurdles. So you just was it just the long legs that you were just able to just being able to have a niche for just going over the hurdles? Or I'm gonna tell you right now, I was scared of hurdles because I was always scared I was gonna fall.
Oh,
So how were you able to
baby.
just navigate through that with self-teaching yourself with
Um,
no technique?
if a lot of my neighbors were on and they could talk right now, they would tell you that Coach Woodall gave me a hurdle, and I used to put it in my driveway.
Oh,
I used to practice on it. He gave me a set of blocks too. So I used to
uh-huh.
practice my steps to the hurdle. And that's how I learned how to get to the first one. I practiced like
Right.
all afternoon into the dark sometimes, just practicing my technique.
Okay, so that's it right there. I think elite athletes, in order to be an elite athlete, I don't think people understand that part of it. The work that you have to put in outside of practices.
Yeah.
I think that, and then it's unheard of for coaches to give you a hurdle and blocks.
Yeah, he was real
So that's
good
definitely a testament
at
to the coaches. But in order for them to give that, they're not going to give that to you if they didn't feel like that you were going to put it to use
that.
as
Right.
well. So what did you say to them in order to get the block and the hurdle for them to even agree to do that? Do
You
you
know,
remember?
I don't think I really said anything. He just said, you know what? You need a hurdle to practice on, and we're going
Okay,
to use some blocks. And, I gave them back, but he,
right.
he let me have those in my possession to work on and do whatever I needed to do.
I love it. Mr. Brown said, "What year did you participate in track at station?"
71 through 73.
Okay, and so I have your bio from when we were looking at your bio from Layshaw, and you have how many state championships?
Well, actually, only won one championship, and then the next year I got second from my teammate Tina Hill.
Where is really? So okay, so all I know is I have to figure out how to get Reba Woodall on here because she has produced so many. Bryan Station has a dynasty when it comes to track and field athletes that have absolutely been amazing. I've had Victoria Gay on here also, who also went to Bryan Station and got 3 championships in a row for track. And we've had Littleton on here. There's so many Layshoff inductees that we have put in from Bryan Station because the absolute, especially out of track and field and for football. So what was that like? And you're talking about the 70s. What was that like? And then the traveling. How did you navigate through all that? Because what was it like at Tennessee State? So you went to Tennessee State. So for how long did you go to Tennessee State? And then why did you transfer from Tennessee State to Kentucky? How did that go
I was
about?
there for 3 years, and actually, UK had, I guess, been ploying for me to come and get a scholarship there.
Hmm.
Uh, but I went to Tennessee State, and then that next year, my junior year, I just transferred back. I transferred back home, and I had a scholarship at UK and finished up there.
Okay. Like, okay, so
Sue
you know I'm
Feimster
sitting
was
here
there.
thinking
She
like
was
okay,
great.
so how did the transfer, I guess there wasn't a transfer portal, but you were able to transfer because I remember um even Victoria saying that she had transferred from I think Western, but they had gotten rid of their program.
Mhm.
So how did the transfer system work back then? You could just transfer? And
Uh,
then how did you get the
yeah,
scholarship? But you said that
because
they were looking for you. How did that work?
right,
Because it's
because
so different now.
I know this in the beginning that they had wanted to give me a scholarship. I really didn't know because my mind was bent on going to Tennessee State. And
Oh,
when they heard that I was thinking about transferring back, I mean, everything just fell into place.
right.
Fell into place, and I came back, and boom, I was on the team.
And
And
boom. Just like that. So
mhm.
what was your career like at Kentucky after coming from Tennessee State? Was the competition different? Was the SEC like that, like it is now back then? What was the competition like?
It was pretty much like that. Of course, they are so much faster these days.
I know.
It was different, but the competition was the same. We went to the same um, meets, same nationals, et cetera, et cetera. You ran into people that you saw when you were running in high school.
Hmm.
Um, we even ran against Tennessee State. We
Okay.
actually ran in meets against Tennessee State too.
Okay.
So I ran against my old coach, my old team and stuff. And then sometimes we beat them in a couple of events. So oh, that
What
was
was that like?
that was fun.
Oh my goodness.
It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Okay, um so as you transitioned from high school to college and you moved away from home, what was that like?
Um,
Do you remember? I mean, I know it's been a long time.
well, I'll say the biggest thing was, my mother, who did not want me to run in the first place, she was really on it. In fact, I remember her taking me to the sports thing that we had in the summer, the sports camp. And we stayed at the hotel. She stayed there the whole week with me. And she was a little bit proud of me. In fact, Courier Journal had an article about how she did not want me to actually run, and that I did fairly well in the state and stuff. And they were saying, just think what I could have done had I gone my first year. Um, we stayed there. She took me down. She loved it. Whenever we had big meets or something, she came down. She liked that. So it was really good. That was the most notable thing that I had. Leaving and going, I guess I was so intrigued about going to this college and with their rankings and stuff that I was
To
just
Tennessee
excited.
State.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because even Jennifer says, I mean, Coach Ed Temple at that particular time with the Tennessee State Tiger Bells was the most elite track program in the country at that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was. It was. The Zephyrs, Wilts Wonder Women, there were a whole bunch of really good clubs. So we used to
Okay.
run against them all the time. But as far as the college goes, yes, Prairie View was a really good one we competed against. But yeah, Tennessee State was pretty much known for, their athletes. So I felt really special on being on that team.
So when did your mom know that you were special? Even after not wanting you to run. Like when did her perspective change and her mind change when she became supportive?
Once she took me to the track camp that first summer, and she changed her whole mind. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I love it. So after, okay, so what was the transition from, okay, Tennessee State? Who was the you said there in Prairie View. When did LSU? So that must have came later on when LSU became the elite.
Mm-hmm. That was later
The
on.
Tennessee, it was Tennessee State before LSU became the
Right.
the elite track program in the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's prior. Okay, cool. So how did how did how did um how did you transition out? Like, do you remember when was the last time you put on a pair of spikes? Do you
Uh,
recall that moment when did you realize it, or was there a moment after the fact, and then you realized after the fact that wow, that was the last time I put on a pair of spikes? And then what was that transition like going from an elite athlete and then your career into the military? Did you go into the military right after that? Or did you have a transition period in between?
there was a little transition period. The
Okay.
last time I think I put spikes on was, I know I had my daughter. I ran after I had my first child.
Oh wow, that's good.
Um, Probably around 82, maybe 83. Um, and I think I was running for a marathon oil track club with Cecil Ward. Cecil Ward from Paducah Tillman. He was coach of that club then. That was about it. And then I became a mom, and my husband went into the military, and he was in for a little while, and then I joined up.
Okay. Okay. So how did okay. I'm a military brat, so we've got so many connections, and I'm loving this conversation. Where is okay? So the track clubs, what that was going on right now, is that similar to the AAU? But was that after college, or was that like a professional circuit? Is that what that was?
That was after
A professional?
that was after college. It was just several clubs that had opened up like within the area.
Hmm.
People knew me and kind of recruited me, I guess, to join the clubs. They weren't like a professional club. At that time, there were just so many different track clubs all around the country, because people still wanted to continue running and stuff. And if you weren't running for a college, you were running for one of those clubs. And like I said, they still went to some of the bigger meets. In fact, when I qualified for the Olympic trials, I was running for Terre Haute Track Club in Indiana. I wasn't with a college then.
Okay, so how did that work?
You mean how
So
did I?
Terre Haute, yeah, like I don't like I can't wrap my brain around how this whole thing worked back then and there because it's so different now. Like you don't hear about track clubs now. So like for instance, let's use uh Sydney McLaughlin, for instance. She went to Kentucky,
Mhm,
then she decided to go pro.
mhm.
So is this considered a pro when you're at Terre Haute and when you're that was it wasn't but you were still able to compete nationally
Right, right, right.
back
The,
then?
the big pro circuit, all of that. Oh gosh, it didn't come till way later, way down.
Oh, gotcha. Yo,
Yeah,
Cecil Ward is on now. He said, yeah, that's what he's saying. He said there
yes.
was no professional. So you didn't have a professional track. So how do you go from being on this circuit with Terre Haute, you're still competing nationally with people, but then so how did the Olympic trials come about? You just
If
qualify?
you're running through the year, there's a qualifying time that you have to hit in order to get in. And
Okay.
I hit that time. I can't remember where I did it. It may have been in West. I'm not sure. Um, and you send your paperwork in to get ready to go to it. Well, that was probably my real downfall. I kind of like fell out of love with track then because the people at Terre Haute were supposed to get my ticket and stuff squared away, get all my stuff
Mhm,
sent to Louisville. I went to the airport to go out, and the ticket was not there. I missed my
mhm.
flight. I couldn't get there in order to compete.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what did that feel like? How was that?
Uh,
How disappointing was that? Oh my
it
goodness. So
really was
did you have another opportunity after that, or was that the last time?
to continue running.
Hmm.
Yeah, I still ran for a little while, but not
Okay.
much longer because I got married later on in the year.
Okay.
And then you become a wife and
And a
you
mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And life just happens.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's nothing wrong with that. So did any of that, so you said you have a daughter. You
I
have children or just a daughter? One daughter?
have a
Did
daughter
she
and a
follow
son.
in your a daughter and a son? Did either of them follow in your footsteps for track?
My son did.
Really? Tell us about his career.
Alfred Jr. He ran with North Hardin. And
Okay.
he was a pretty good hurdler too, pretty good sprinter. Um,
Did you coach him up?
a little, a little, I did. Uh-huh. He didn't continue on. If he was on, he would probably tell you that that I may have had something to do with that. I'm not sure. But he played a little football, but he went into the Air Force because in Radcliffe, there's really not a lot to do around, and we signed him in early. And he's just about to retire. Time flies.
It goes by pretty
Right.
fast. I lived in Radcliffe, and yeah, there's not a whole lot there, and all you know is military because you're just only around military because it's right outside Fort Knox.
Right.
Okay, um, so did you ever do any coaching?
Just a little bit with North Hardin. And that's it. And
Did they
then,
know how? But did they appreciate you? Did they? I guarantee you didn't tell them who you were. Did they know who you were?
yeah, they knew who I was.
Okay, good.
They knew.
Good.
They
I
knew.
know sometimes when we become elite athletes, we get very modest about who we are and what we were. But sometimes you just got to let people know, especially when you're coaching,
Hmm.
because I know with my husband when he's coaching, he's like, guys, I I got receipts, and I guess that's the word we like to use. Is we have receipts on what we've done. Um, and so when we're coaching, we like to be, you have to have that credibility with them. So you did a little bit of coaching, and then you're doing the military. Okay, so tell me about you and your husband's military career, because I'm a military brat. My biological dad was a retired first sergeant, and my stepfather is a retired CW5.
Okay. Okay. Um, my husband's father was also military. And, he told him that since we were going to have a family, et cetera, that of course, they pushed military a lot. And so he went in, he did over 20 years. He went to officers candidate school and I was enlisted. So I didn't
Okay,
stay in long because at that time in the 80s, they frowned upon officers and enlisted together.
enlisted, yes.
Okay.
Even though y'all were already married.
Right. Right. So I got out and I was just a military wife and took the kids to school and did whatever they needed to do while he was in. And we went different places.
Where were
Sometimes
you stationed?
overseas. Let's see, Fort Polk,
Louisiana,
uh-huh, Lawton, Fort Sill,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yep, I got my niece and my sister was living there, and I have a cousin that lives in Lawton now.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm. And then all I can remember is we moved to Fort Knox and we were there for a while. So, once the kids get in junior high and high school, they don't really want to move around anymore.
oh, absolutely. That's why I'm here in Lexington,
Yeah.
because my daughter's father is in the military, and then once she got in high school, I was gonna be stuck until she graduated.
Hmm. So
Yeah, I
we,
have a lot of friends that are to this day are still upset with their parents because they moved their junior, senior year in high school. Yeah. But the
yeah.
military life is no joke. Anyway, thank you both for your service. And that's why I wanted to ask about your service because, thank you so much for your service. to the both of you. Because again, people have no idea how hard the military life is, and we can probably go on and on about what that's like. Okay, so I'm gonna double back because Mr. Cecil Ward made a comment about how there was no sponsors or anything back in the day because you weren't professional athletes,
Right.
and everything was at your expense. Oh my goodness! So you really had to love the game in order to, I mean, loved running because there wasn't, you weren't getting compensated.
Right. That's why a lot of people probably back then just we weren't known. We
Yes.
have the ink like you do with some of the professional athletes. Now, it was completely different.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So at station, did the did the female track compete in the state with the station men team featuring Ken Chenault and Walter Hamilton?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
I love it when Mr.
Yeah, they
Brown
were
name
there
drops.
a year before me.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So who paved the way for you when you were in track in high school? Who were your greats that you looked up to?
I remember still having black and white TV, and it was really weird how I ended up Tennessee State because I would watch the Olympics and I would see Wilma Rudolph and Iris Davis and all of them. And I think that's how I decided, oh, I really want to run track. I never saw anybody then run hurdles, but later on I saw Mamie Rollins.
Okay.
Mamie was there a year or two when I was there. So
Okay.
I competed against her and learned from her also. But
Mhm.
they were the ones that really got me started. I figured, oh, I want to be a Tiger Bell. And I went from there.
Okay, so we've gone through your military, through your high school. We go to Tennessee State. We get to Kentucky. We graduate from Kentucky. We get married. We have children. We go into the military. We get out of the military. We become a wife, and then you become. How long after that when you become a business owner? Because
Mm.
you own a flower shop in Radcliffe.
I'm actually, I had the Fort Knox Flower Shop.
Oh, the Fort Knox flower.
And,
Okay.
and then once COVID rolled around, a lot of the stores moved out. And so I just went on continuing to do flowers on my own. So I'm
Okay.
self-employed.
Okay. Okay. Now, all this, and then you get a call out of the blue about being inducted into the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. Tell me about that phone call.
Oh my gosh. That was just probably one of the best days of my life. You think about it later on, but then again, you don't, because I had other things that I was doing. I haven't said that I actually started bowling, and that was my second love there. I'm still bowling a little bit. So,
Both of my parents bowl too. They
yeah.
think they on the PBA. So yeah, I get it.
Uh,
Must be a military thing. I don't know.
I just fell in love with that, and I forgot about all the other things. And
Okay.
uh, Bobby,
Who called you, Bobby?
Bob Jones called me.
Okay.
And see, I ran track. He was running when I was running. He was a lot
Okay.
at the Brown Station.
Okay.
And so he remembers, I can't remember, did he go to Murray or Moorhead?
Moorhead.
Moorhead, okay. I do remember when we had, our events and stuff, I would see him running there too. So he kind of knows, we know each other from the past, seeing each other at meets and stuff and what we did. And he called me and told me, he said, Sherry, he said, look, I've been trying to push your name. They don't know you because you've been, you're way back in the day. And I said, yeah. And he said he finally got it to go through that I had been inducted. And I was I was really tripping. Oh, wow. Oh, yes. I
So
love
I see that you're on social media. So had you heard about the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame before that time?
I
You had
heard.
heard, did you see it online?
Yes.
Okay. So you knew it existed
Mhm.
prior to the call. So just blown away. So okay, so when you saw that we started it up, of course. So did you go to school with Goose and all back then when Goose and all them was there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So they were our first inductees in our first year.
Mhm.
So did it ever occur to you that you would be in? Or did it really totally take you by surprise when
Oh, it
Bobby
took me by
when
surprise.
Bobby called you?
Yeah, it took me by surprise.
It took you totally
It
by
did.
surprise.
I mean, I'm gonna admit that I just really didn't think, oh, I probably wasn't Hall of Fame caliber or something, you know. And so that's why I really was truly surprised. I really was.
But when we looked at your when people look at your okay, let's go through it. Name some of the things that people don't know that you did. Give us some of your accolades.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can just let you know like some of the meets and stuff that I went to. I went to Bakersfield, California, White Plains, New York, Guadalupe, um, Puerto Rico. Mm, oh gosh, there were so many different meets, you know, that I went to.
And that you
And
won. And what did you win? And you were winning them though.
yeah, I was winning. If I wasn't winning,
Yes.
like in the top three, I was like in the top 10 in the United States. Nike sponsored
That's
me.
what I'm talking about right there. Let's go to that. People need to hear that part of it. Okay. You hear about Nike sponsoring people in this day and age, but you didn't hear about Nike sponsoring, especially we're having a hard time getting Asia Wilson getting a Nike shoe. But
Right.
Nike had sponsored you back in the 70s?
Yeah. I mean, I would look up, and I think it may have been close to maybe every month or every other month, I would get shoes and
Shoes.
bags and, you know, sweats and um, outer gear and stuff from them.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't ask, you went to, there was a specific meet that you went to or headquarters, and they would take your measurements and everything. And so
Mhm.
they knew what shoe, what size you wore, what you wore, and you would just get a parcel, you'd get a bag of stuff. And
So
almost
they just
everybody
so they
kind of
weren't
had,
giving checks back then, but they was giving free gear.
right, right.
But I will take it. We'll take it free. I mean, it's free gear. It's still free gear, and it's Nike. It's not a. I'm pretty sure even back then it wasn't cheap. So it's not cheap because it's not cheap now. So,
Right.
but what an honor.
Yeah, they sent you a lot of stuff. Sent a lot of stuff. But you, like I said, you had to have been ranked in
And
order for
at a
them to get.
certain right. Again, we're not giving you. I'm not giving you enough justice about what you did. I need people to hear about. Again, you broke a national record. National record. You were a national record holder, like the best in the whole nation.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
That's what they told you.
Well, it was
Okay.
printed up, you know, it was printed up that
How long? When did you realize that you were good?
actually I remember running a meet. I can't remember what the coach's name was. Coach Ward will probably remember her name. She was from Woodford County. And we ran in a meet with them one time. And she came back and told them that girl just ran a national record. She just broke a record.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, as long as she coached, I guess, you know, she would end up knowing. And right then, I guess I figured, well, I must be pretty good.
Good
And
if I'm breaking national records, right?
right, right, right. I cannot remember her name for nothing, but I can
It'll
see it
come to you.
clear as
It,
day. Yeah,
it,
but
it'll
probably then, probably then.
okay. Um, what life lessons did that experience give you? Like how did it help you to be a wife or a mom or a business owner?
Um,
Because it's hard being an elite athlete. It takes a different mindset. And as a coach in this day and age, it is so difficult to teach that part because everything is mental.
mhm. Uh-huh.
How did you even get that mind? Do you know where that mindset came from for you that once you realized that you had the gift physically, but then you have to put the mental in it in order for you to use the hurdle and the blocks out in the driveway at the house. When did that light switch come on, and how did that develop? Because
Uh,
and the reason why I'm asking is because there's coaches that need to. We don't know how to coach that up in athletes in this day and age with this generation of kids.
I mean, I guess it took a village, and I said that when I
Hmm.
my award because I do remember when I got ready to go to the nationals, and like Coach Ward was saying, there were no sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. I
Mhm.
walked around my neighborhood and asked my neighbors if they would donate for me to go to the nationals,
Mhm.
and they saw the worth in me. And you know, parents back then, they would spank your child or tell your parent that you did something crazy, et cetera, et cetera. It's like everybody knew each other's kids and the parents and stuff. And so I guess they saw my worth and they helped me to go. Um, since I had no one to really help push me other than my first Coach Woodall, he
Mhm.
helped me. Just him showing me by giving me a hurdle and a
Yeah,
block.
I mean that's huge.
Yeah. That helped to inspire me. And like I said, once I looked at the Olympics and other meets and stuff on television, I saw Wilma and Iris. There was just this drive in me that was like, oh, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I still had no idea when I finished high school where I was going to go, if I was going to get a scholarship. I knew I wanted to go to college. And I
Mhm.
guess I did enough that even Coach Temple saw the worth. Now, I'm going to tell you what Coach Temple was. He was our father, he was our coach. That was another driving force there. He would not even let you, as a freshman, ride in a car with anyone.
Oh wow.
You could not ride in anyone. We all went together
Mhm.
as a team. We practiced as a team. We had to go meet him at the famous post office at Tennessee State every day. We had to check in with him. Um, Mamie Rollins was kind of like she was the team mom or whatever. You checked in with her, et cetera, et cetera. So they really kept an eye on us and they taught us you're not supposed to do this, you can't do that, et cetera, et cetera. So we had great coaches with that and trying to develop us into the people that we became.
I hope that's the type of coach I want to be. When somebody's talking about me 20 years from now, like I hope someone talks about me like that as a coach. Um, so, Mr. Ward, okay, so Bobby Jones is on her. Hey, Bobby, I see you. I'm sorry. He said, "Congratulations again, Sherry." And he said, I'm gonna go to this one. He said, "Who was the UK track coach when you were there, and what was your most memorable times there?"
Harold Barnett was the coach then. And everybody loved Coach Barnett. In fact, Coach Barnett may have come from Lafayette.
Oh,
After
really?
yeah, I think he did, or he did help to coach him. I know he coached the high school, but he
Hmm.
came and coached us, and he was another great coach that saw your worth. He talked all the time. He never put you down. Um, he kept us together as a team, et cetera, et cetera. It was joy being under his tutelage also.
Cecil Ward said you should be you in the coaches and the KSAA Hall of Fame.
He's been saying that for a long time.
So you're not in the KSAA Hall of Fame, and you
No,
were a national record holder.
no. See, I told you, I think probably a big problem was once you left Kentucky, everybody forgot about you or they didn't know about you. They
Yeah,
didn't see the ink. They didn't see the meets and stuff that you went to because they were
right. Because you
hey,
don't have the social media like we do now in order
right,
to be able to keep up with what everybody's doing.
right.
Okay, because even like now, with social media, when we have players that come out of Lexington and they go other places, if people aren't posting, you're right, you forget about them and you have no idea what they're doing, and
Right.
you can't keep up with what they got going on. And Bobby said you're being modest. You're the most elite Kentucky athlete at that time, the most elite athlete at that time, at your time. Yeah.
Well,
So other than
that's
Kentucky, was there any other state that you would have lived in during your travels?
hmm, probably not. Probably not. Just a couple.
But what a blessing that y'all's military career brought you back to Kentucky, though.
I know, wasn't it?
How exciting was that? Like, did you feel like, oh my God, you get the orders and you're coming back home? What a
Right.
blessing.
In fact, we stayed in the house that my husband grew up in when we first got back because his parents had moved to Alabama.
His family is from Kentucky too.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
they're from Alabama, but they
Okay.
finished in Kentucky also.
Oh, they finished it because they were military as well. Okay. What part of Alabama are they from?
Thomasville.
Oh, okay. Because I'm from Alabama. I'm from
Oh
Baldwin
my
County.
gosh. Small
From
world.
Alabama. Yeah, my parents were military. I mean, what? I ran track. I wasn't elite like you were, but yeah. But track was my thing. Yeah, Mr. Ward said that there wasn't not many scholarships at that time for women, and I think that's why I was so when Bobby brought you to my attention, because number one, because I was a track person, but because of the era that you came up in, because number one, we had some white coaches that looked out.
Right.
Like that is unheard of, because again of the era that was. We were still battling with a whole lot of stuff at that time, where of inequalities and racism, and a lot of that stuff was still very prevalent, because I guarantee there were some times when you went on a track meet, there were some issues.
Right. Right. Yep. It
We were
was.
still dealing with issues, yes, as a not just as a woman and as a Black woman.
But you
There were
know
some issues back then.
what? I really don't remember a whole bunch of that because there's something about athletes that it's like you kind of don't go through some of that stuff because a lot of people are on the same level, really, even though you have issues. Competing is probably the best thing that could probably ever happen if you wanted to
To
get
racism, to
right.
dispel racism. Oh,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. Because again, I know I've seen a lot of people that are, and I know for a fact that they're racist. But then when it comes to sports,
Yeah.
they just want to win
Mhm. Mhm.
with whoever that's wanting to do that. Oh, so Bobby said that Lafayette Barnett was his coach.
Yes. See, I thought
Okay,
you would. Yeah.
so Barnett coached Bobby and them at Lafayette, and then he was able to get a job at UK.
Right. Hmm.
That's unheard of in this day and age. They're not pulling um, high school coaches and then putting them in the SEC to coach.
He was
That must
a good
be nice. Must
coach.
be nice.
I tell you too. He was a good coach.
He's a good coach.
Very
Okay.
warm. Very warm. He took his time with helping you with your technique, doing whatever you
Mhm.
needed to do. They invited you to their houses. They picked us up. They were great. They were great.
Yeah, I gotta get in touch with Reba and have her on here, because I got some questions that I gotta ask her, because it's a different type of mindset when you have a heart for people and you're genuine,
Hmm.
when especially as we grow up and we see people that for their true colors, and it's difficult dealing with them. But when you get true people that are just God, almost literally God-like, and
Right.
they have God in them, because they treat you fairly and they treat you like family. You just can't. I mean, there's just nothing that you can do about it. I had coaches like that in high school, but I came a little bit later on. But I also grew up around a military base.
Hmm.
So at growing up as a military, it's a little bit more diverse, and it's just a different mindset when you grow up as a military around a military
Yeah.
environment.
Mhm.
But for you all to be here in Lexington and have the coaches here, so you mean you had Coach Barnett at Lafayette, and you had the Woodalls at um, Bryan Station simultaneously. They were going against each other, so no wonder Lexington has the athletes. So what other coaches were pivotal in this time? Do you remember?
Well, Coach Ward was. He was another good coach, great coach. He recruited some very good athletes from around Kentucky and developed his
So where is Coach Cecil Ward from?
Paducah Tillman.
Paducah Tillman. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, he was, there was another coach that I ran for their club just a year or two with the Chicago Zephyrs. I cannot remember her name either.
Okay.
She was pivotal. I mean, I actually went to Chicago and stayed through the summer running with them. And that was on me too. That was on my money.
All on your dime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
were you able to get sponsorship? How did you do that? Were you able to get sponsorships, or just you just had friends and family? Just did we come together? And of course, you didn't have
right.
GoFundMe back in those days. So what did we do back in the days in
Friends
order to
and
fund all that for
family.
you?
There was also, I need to be shot on this one, but I did have a sponsor. I can't think of his name from UK either. He did sponsor me some and help me to go to some of the larger meets, but I cannot think of his name for nothing in the world. That's such a long time ago.
I get it.
I do know that I did have that help though, but a lot of the time, um, I went around and I asked people if they would help. And then when I got with Terre Haute, they had sponsors through the club that helped us to
Okay.
go other places.
Okay. Okay. Guess that. Okay. Well, this is what I want to go back to. I met you on the red carpet at the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame Gala. So the first time I got a chance to meet you, and it was such an honor, was on the red carpet. What was it like getting picked up in the limo,
Oh my.
getting out? Walk me through your experience with the gala. Cause so you get the call from Bobby, and you're blown away that you even got nominated or that you got inducted, and you're coming in as a Hall of Famer. So so we got a couple of weeks go by that before, well, actually months. We went months, right? Before it actually went into fruition.
Mhm.
So then the day the gala comes, you get picked up. Walk me through it. What was it like? What were you thinking?
Well, first of all, it was a trip just trying to find the parking structure that we were supposed to go in.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's crazy. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
because you don't live here, so you have no idea. Yeah,
right,
and they
right.
renovated it, so even we probably didn't have no idea what was going on. Yeah. Okay.
So when we got there and they told us that there would be someone there to let us in the door, my heart started racing then. And
Okay.
we were supposed to go into the room where everybody was supposed to come in that was inducted. And it was just good to see everybody there. Most of them I really didn't know, but I knew of them. I just
Mhm.
didn't know them personally.
Right.
And then when they picked us up and we went in each limo to where we were supposed to go in the front, I just could not stop smiling. And then I started seeing all these people that I knew and my family, my sister and niece, my daughter, their family, they had come down and we were all talking and stuff in there. And it was just an unbelievable feeling. It really and truly was. I couldn't stop smiling.
So what was it like? The red carpet, the interview. Okay, what did you feel when you first walked into the ballroom? The setup, sitting at your table.
I was going, wow, look at this. I actually didn't know that it was around front. that we were supposed to go, because we kept waiting. Okay, when are we supposed to go? Because we all kind of wanted to sit down and stuff. And then when it finally happened, they said, come on, let's go around to the front. And I saw all these tables and all these people. I'm going, this is larger than life. I had no idea.
Idea what to expect.
No, I had no idea. The food was good. The stage was beautiful. The MCs. In fact, Jock and his sister, oh Lord,
Were amazing.
I babysit them.
You did?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we went to Pleasant Green and his mom, and then we're there, and I was in Oakwood, and they were in Oakwood Estates, and
Okay.
just kind of went over some.
Oh, you grew up in Oakwood?
Yeah, I'm Oakwood.
Okay. Yeah, Leaf Kavanaugh. You know Kavanaughs?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that's how I know Oakwood, only because Leaf Kavanaugh. Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people that were there and doing.
So when was the last time you seen a lot of those people? So had it been a while before a lot of the people that you had seen, or was it like a family reunion?
It was kind of like a family reunion, but earlier in the year there were a couple of funerals that I had gone to. Some of my best.
So you had been home.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of them there, but it was nothing like, the gala. Nothing like the gala.
Nothing like the gala. So for someone that gets a call that they're being inducted, what should they expect?
It's almost like it's royalty with that.
It's first class.
It's first class. It really and truly is. And then to get dressed up in your best little togs,
Because you look good. And did you get the pictures?
I got them.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
Those were good pictures. Yeah, everyone.
Great memories.
Yes. It was good to see Norman too. Norman Jackson was at Bryan Station when I was
there. So he was there when you were there. So there was a couple of people that were there that you went to school with?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So everything so it wasn't anything that you imagined that it would be. It was absolutely a magical night for you.
It really was. Now I had seen some of this on your previous years with the inductee, but it still was,
nothing like being there.
What's going on? Yeah, it was completely different actually being there. Yes.
Yeah, people don't get it. Watching it on video gives it no justice.
Right.
Than actually being at the gala. Yeah. So people, y'all need to make sure y'all next year don't miss it, because I'm telling you, it is first class. Bobby and Jennifer Jones did an absolute great job with their vision of the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. My husband and I, we cannot, we got blessed to be able to be on the red carpet to greet you all when you guys came out of the limo when you first came in. And it was just such an honor for us because, we're not from Lexington, and for them to bestow that honor on us was nothing less than, we were speechless. Our son had a game that day, and we didn't go to his game because of how important it was for us to be there and to be able to do that. But I absolutely love what they have done with this Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. And I recommend anybody, if there's anybody that's outside of Lexington and you have a history of athletes in their city, should create a Hall of Fame. Because I grew up, I'm a military brat, so we grew up in the Fort Riley area in Junction City. So we just had the one high school, and we don't have I don't think we have a athletic Hall of Fame, but they need to get one, or some type of a ring of honor or something like that to honor. My auntie is on here. Auntie, I see you. Thank you. She said, she was talking about the parents back in the day, and just the whole village thing like that. I'm just so glad. I'm just so glad that you came on. Thank you for coming on and just letting us get to know who you are. I wanted to highlight and showcase you because, again, People have no idea who you are, and here you are, an Olympic. Were good enough. I mean, because again, you have to qualify for the Olympic trial. Just anybody can't just be like, well, I'm gonna go to the
Right.
Olympic trials and
Right.
see if I can try out. No, you have to qualify, and you have to be elite in order to be on that level. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to you on
Yeah.
your induction to the Lexington African American Hall of Fame. It was an absolute honor to see you walk across the stage. It was an absolute honor to greet you at the red carpet. It's an absolute honor to have you on my podcast so that we can see your face and get to know you, and hopefully, somebody will share this, and they will learn who Sherry Ballew Agee is. And and I hope that you will continue to come back every year so that
Well,
we can
my
we can
daughter and
continue.
I've been talking about it. She's game.
Well, good. I hope we see you again next year. I think I was, I was hoping that we could come up with a way to continue to honor you all. Just wear your jackets, and that way you still kind of stick out when you do come back to visit. We love some of the other ones that have come back in the first couple of years, and they've come back every year, and it's such a joy to see you. We don't want that to be the last time that we get a chance to see you. That time, I hope you come back every year so that we can continue to honor you every year when you come back. So,
Well, Bethel Ward kind of has me in his mind, like, see my jacket? Sure, you got to come back in your jacket. So he was in UK when I was in UK, triple
that
jacket.
was you at UK. Oh my God. So I love that. I love how you all are just so connected. And I'm just so yeah. So now I have to get Reba Woodall on my show. Because I got some questions for her. Because I got to know the mindset of what they was thinking and what that was like with so many great athletes to come out of Bryan Station, but not just
Believe
Bryan
me, they
Station,
were
but out of
out there
Lexington.
all the time. They were, if you had a question, they could answer it. They would be right there. I never missed a time that, they weren't out there on the field.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, Mr. He said the problem is that people don't know the history of track past the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There
Yeah,
was
that's
some,
why
I really don't know how I was selected to represent the U.S. to go to Guadalupe, other than maybe because I was ranked.
because you were ranked. Yeah,
And maybe,
because you were, again, you're still not giving us I keep having to pull teeth trying to get these accolades out of you. And so you represented the United States in Guadalupe.
yes. Yes.
And again, you're not giving enough accolades.
Well, I represented.
Girl, I'm giving you your opportunity to shine.
About,
I tell you what. Is there anything that you've ever wanted to say publicly that you've never had an opportunity to say, and now's your platform? Anything?
Not really. Maybe I am maybe just too modest. I don't know, but
You're too modest, yes, ma'am.
um, no, because the people that knew me and what I did, hey, they already know.
They
I mean,
already know, yes.
they already know. So no, there's nothing else that I think I should say out loud. I enjoyed my ride, though. I did.
You enjoyed your ride.
Everything about it, the ripping and running, the clothes, the spikes, the getting up early in the morning, going to bed late at night, thinking, what can I do to be faster?
Mm-hmm.
How can I get to this meet? I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Oh, I love that. Is there anything that you would say to athletes in this day and age that can maybe help them? Was there something that you said you wouldn't change anything? Is there anything that you maybe learned? I think I kind of asked this question earlier. What can help athletes in this day and age?
Don't expect anything to be given to you. You have to take it. You have to want it. You have to put yourself out there. If you think you're good enough, then practice. Um, get a great mental attitude. Get great coaches around you. And see, that's another thing. There were not a lot of coaches right in my area. That's why I went out to other clubs. Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Once college was over.
right,
So
right.
there wasn't clubs in this area for you
No,
to still
club
be able to compete
that was
after
Coach
college.
Ford, but he got people from all over Kentucky to actually run, you know. And so
Okay.
we met up with them. He told us the meets that we were going to go to, what to prepare for, et cetera, et cetera. And then we met up. There were plenty of times when I was actually driving to some of these meets and picking up some of the other girls that were in other towns for us to
Hmm.
do it.
Okay. Okay, good stuff. Well, listen, thank you so much for being on my show today. I appreciate it so much. It is just an absolute honor to get a chance to meet you. I love honoring people like you, especially when you felt like you've gotten forgotten about. And I don't know why you're not in the Kentucky. So we got to work on getting you inducted into the Kentucky High School Athletic Hall of Fame, and see what that process is like. And I think, and I love, that's the reason why the Joneses started Layshoff, was because there are a lot of athletes like you that never got that type of recognition.
Right.
Are you in? Okay, what did you do at Kentucky? Are you in Kentucky's Hall of Fame?
No,
Yeah, see.
no.
See. Yeah. So, but so I'm so thankful that they came up with this idea and that they went forward to. It was a lot of work. They put in a lot of work. We put in a lot of work as a team to make this happen, and I'm so grateful and thankful for them that they did, because I would have never had an opportunity to meet you and to know who you were, and be able to be blessed, to be able to put your story out there and showcase, especially showcase it on my platform. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on my platform. I appreciate you so much. So,
Well,
the last thing I
you
want to say to
invited
people,
me.
yes. So today is October the 16th. So everybody, you have until October the 31st to nominate someone for the possible 2025. So the deadline is coming up for that, in order for the nomination committee and the selection committee to come up with their list of inductees for the class of 2025. Is there anybody that you think should be on there next year?
See, I don't remember a lot of people from. I would have to think about that.
Okay.
I'd have to think about that. And it has
Because
to
what
be they're
happens
from
is we don't, we
It's from
don't
Lexington,
know,
right?
especially when it's like people from like your era and before,
Right.
like the segregation era. We have to rely on people that knows people, or their family member or something like that, in order to make sure that, because you can't Google. There's no Google for
Right.
them,
Yep.
and so that information doesn't come up to be, for us to know. So yeah, so if you think about it, people can go to layshoff.com. I think I got a banner. Let me put this up.
Yeah, and it's only from Lexington, right?
Yes,
Yes.
because
Okay.
it is the Lexington, yeah,
Right.
Lexington
Right.
African American Sports Hall of Fame. So layshoff.com. So if you guys go to layshoff.com, www.layshoff.com, there should be something on there where you can do a nomination. Now, when you nominate, make sure you're detail oriented. So, we can't, if you just say, well, I want to nominate Sherry Ballew, and she was a good track star. That's not gonna cut it. You got to give us what she did, what he did, what made him significant, what made her significant. Their accolades have to be like, we have to be able to look it up, right? Like, we should be able to go someplace and verify, because I think they have like all the records and stuff in under the KSAA, something like that. Or if you have like newspaper clippings or something like that, that can show the accolades or whatever like that. Because we can't just, people start making up people just to be in the Hall of Fame. We can't have that, right? So, but but we definitely can, we definitely can do that. Okay, so I think we got a couple more. I'm gonna make sure I touch on everybody in the chat, and then I'll let you go. Oh, Cecil Ward said that most Black coaches could not be the. Oh, look at that. Most Black coaches could not be the head coach. He said he was lucky.
You didn't see many.
Oh, I didn't even touch on that. How many Black coaches were available back then? There wasn't a lot. He said he that's what he said. Bobby Jones, what did you run at Lafayette? I don't know if you're still on here. Mr. Brown wanted to know do you remember what Bobby ran at Lafayette?
Sprints. I know he ran sprints.
Sprints.
102.
Bobby Jones said he got them that job. Okay, who is Mrs. Duckins? Yeah, was that the one? Cecil mentioned Mrs. Duckins. So it must have been somebody you were thinking about, and that must have been one of the names.
Unless it was the Chicago Zephyr coach.
Oh yes, that's it. That's what he said. Coach Jane Duckins was the Zephyr track club coach. You were trying to think of his name. Anthony Jackson, was Anthony Jackson there when you were? Was he playing basketball when you were there? We just inducted him as well.
Not sure.
Well, Linda Venable Borum said she's so proud of you, Sherry.
That's my cousin.
Cecil Ward said, I was so happy to see Victoria Gay induction into the great Lexington. Yes. The coach Terry question, I asked her that she needs to recommend to the other Hall of Fames. She said he already recommended you to the other Hall of Fames. Yeah. And then Jennifer Jones, of course, we're so thankful for Jennifer Jones. She said, now I admire her even more. And then he said that Coach Reba filled out the forms and she will be in both. So it looks like we're looking at doing whatever. And women's track in Kentucky in 1965. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I address everybody in the group. Bobby said 72 to 74 was when he ran. And hey, you guys are all just amazing. Thank you. So again, I'm gonna let you go because it's late. Bobby and Jennifer, thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to meet such an amazing woman in Sherry. And Sherry, I can't wait till we hear about your induction into the KSAA Hall of Fame and hopefully also the Kentucky Hall of Fame. And it is an honor to meet you. And thank you so much for being on my show. I'm gonna end the stream, but don't log off, okay?
Okay.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all go to layshoff.com and make sure you get those nominations in before October 31st. If you think that someone should be inducted. So if they're not coming up on the list, then we can't narrow it down. So I know like last year there's like 200. Sherry, you might not know that. There was like about over 200 names down, and yours that got narrowed down to.
Oh my goodness! No.
And it got narrowed down to the ones that all y'all inductees that just came out. Yes. That is a very, very difficult process for the team. Very difficult process for the team. For them to come up with that list of inductees every year. And Bobby and Jennifer are just amazing. And with that. So Layshoff rocks. I appreciate Layshoff. And I'm out of here. My auntie said, nice interview. tonight, Niece. Just wonderful. Yes, thank you, thank you. Only because I had a great guest, because it was a great, and because I had a great guest. So it's easy when it's a great guest, and they're amazing, and you get to hear their story. So don't log off, and we're done. And I'll see you all next week.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.